Hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and today I'm going to be doing a first impression slash sort of almost a guide for Tiny Keep, which is a PC game coming out in just 3 days, so September the 29th, and it's going to be available on Steam, and you can buy it now, and I believe you get a 33% discount, so if you wanted to buy it, I believe now's probably the best time. And just some full disclosure, I am not getting paid to do this, I'm not getting paid if you buy the game. I just saw the game, I thought it was a little confusing, I didn't see any real gameplay videos of it, and I figured that'd be one, a cool idea to do that, and two, I kind of wanted to play the game. So I asked the developer, and they gave me a key. So that's what's going on here, because I thought that was pretty cool. So that's what's going on in this video. So let's get straight into it, shall we? As we play with our red bearded dwarf with red trousers. Actually, let's wear something more reasonable, like green trousers. Green trousers are much more reasonable. You know, let's have a red jacket to make up for that. You know, orange jacket works just fine. So yeah, let's go right into this. And just a quick note, as like an all developers should do thing. Down here at the bottom, that text is awesome. So permission is granted for anyone who wishes to monetize videos that play, blah blah blah, or reference or review the game. And I think that's a really cool thing that someone finally gets that that's what you should probably be doing, because like, a lot of games are really toxic towards people who play the games, like Nintendo comes to mind, and the fact that, you know, any indie gamer always just deciding, you know, maybe it's a smart idea if we let people, you know, bring our game to new audiences. I think that's cool, and like, just from a basic level, that's really cool. So, if you're wondering what that text just popped on screen was, it's basically like the flavor text that goes along with all this stuff, gives it kind of more of a story. I don't particularly care for it, because it's like, yeah, the gameplay is cool enough to stand alone for me, but if you wanted to play through this and you want the story, then of course that's the thing you can do, and I guess I'm technically not spoiling it this way because of how fast it goes by. However, if you want to watch it, you can, or like read it, you can pause the game, like or video, like you can always. I've always found the problem with text in videos is you have to slow it down to work out what's going on there. But yeah, let's get straight into what's actually going on, because I've been killing some dudes and picking up weapons for a while now. So yeah, this is Tiny Keep, which is a procedurally generated kind of dungeon crawling game that has some roguelike elements. Like, it's pretty roguelike in quite a few ways. The biggest way is the permadeath, which is like a feature quite a lot of games have now, so it's not particularly unique. But basically, if you die once in this game, then you're dead forever. And you have to start an entirely new game, and all you bring with you is your experience, as in your literal experience, not like XP or something. It's weird that you have to split experience into the word and XP. But yeah, so there's permadeath and there's procedurally generated dungeons, which means every time you play the game, although every level starts and finishes the same, everything in between those 2 points is, of course, randomly generated, which creates a pretty fun experience, in my opinion. And yeah, the big things you can do is you have to avoid traps, and you also have to, oh, just hit my own teammate there again, you have to avoid traps, and you have to kill enemies, and apparently you can also pick up some nice guys, but we'll talk about that you know, later when we come up to more of those. So this is the end of the first level, as you can see, not that long level, and we're going to get ourselves some upgrades, so I'm now better at dodging projectiles. So yeah, at the end of every level you get one of these 15 gold fountains, which gives you some, you know, the ability to buy yourself upgrades, which is nice because it gives you kind of a real feeling to the game, and it makes you feel like you're actually achieving something because you're slowly upgrading stuff, and that's the reason for the goal in the game. It's not just this meaningless thing, it does have purpose. So let's get right into the meat and the whatever of this game. What's going on that's really good here, that makes the game worth playing, that interested me, that's drawn me in, and that's allowed me to play the amount of the game I play, because I play the game for maybe like an hour a day for 3 separate days. And that doesn't sound like a whole bunch by itself, but it's one of those games that I just keep wanting to come back to because it's pretty addictive. So what is it that draws me into the game time after time? First of all, it's the fact that, you know, it's the same game you get, so you can, you know, get better at it because you get better at the more difficult, like bosses and stuff. But it's entirely different how you get there each time, and that means you can get, like, you can do better, you can do worse. Like, sometimes you'll get really good drops because you'll get lots of enemies and they'll drop lots of gold. So like you just saw just there, like that archer dropped a ton of gold, or, you know, more like 8 pieces. But yeah, so like you know, that happens sometimes, and that will lead to pretty good things, because that means if you know, you drop in lots of gold, then you get more gold, you get better enchantments, maybe sometimes you get randomly better enchantments, and there's a lot of random aspects to the game that I think they balance them just right, so that, you know, it's different enough but that you can still get better. However, on the other hand, there's some elements that I feel are deliberately designed to make it so that you have more difficulty each time, which I think it's cool because it leads you to the right experience, but they're kind of frustrating to me, and also that archer ran so far away. And the first one of those is, like, it feels a little bit like, you know, the instructions are left out deliberately. So you know, it'll come up the first big example, like the you know, the boss of the next level will come up later. But like there's just quite a few moments where it's like, how does that make any sense? My most annoying example, which was just, you know, about an hour ago, when I played this video, my first run for today, sorry. Basically, I got to the end of level 6, and like you finish off a boss, which is a pretty hard fight, and then there's this big rock monster, but there's this big monster at the end of the level that you think's a second boss or something. So you start fighting it, and I was at full health. I had so many perks. I was super stacked. I was like, oh, I'm doing this. As well as that, I had so much gold ready to buy some stuff. And then yeah, I did that, and what happened was he just exploded and insta-killed me. And it's like that's just not fun anymore. Like insta-kills are rarely justified in games, and you know, frustrating insta-kills are more than a little upsetting. So yeah, there's that going on. So yeah, I'm going around the dungeon trying to pick up as much gold as I can, because I want to save up for a 100 gold upgrade, enchantment, whatever you want to call it, because as well as the 15 gold ones at the end of each level, hidden inside every dungeon somewhere, there's always one of these, which is 100 gold, and they give you much better enchantments, I'm just going to call them enchantments, because that's what my brain is saying apparently, and yeah, they're the ones I'm going after. So let's, we're at the end of the level now, so, oh, it looks like I've got to go get a guard if I want the key. Oh, I wonder where I'll find one of those. Oh, here he is. So yeah, at the end of the second level, you have to deal with a guard. There's 2 types of guards you can get. You can either get the... Whoa, okay, this guy is destroying me. Let's run away, let's get some help. Yeah, there's this guy, the big guy with this big sword. Oh, Jesus. And there's also an archer-based guy that can set you on fire and is immune to fire himself, which is a little frustrating at times, to say the least. So yeah, now we've got more health, we'll let this take care of some enemies, because it always does, by the way. Like that's always a fun thing. The enemies are like affected by the traps too, and they're also affected by each other. So like it's really satisfying, because the combat's pretty slow. You might have noticed, like it takes 3 hits to kill most enemies, and you know, they're pretty slow hits, and there's a lot of enemies around here. I'm trapped in a corner. But yeah, so like even though the combat's pretty slow at times, you can pull off some pretty satisfying maneuvers if you know what you're doing just right. And and like you can also get them trapped with traps and stuff. And there is a lot of enemies running through, probably because of the amount of dungeon I ran through. But yes, I'm gonna not just make a stand here and hopefully not get too destroyed and let the boss destroy all of his minions. Because yeah, I really like the fact that they, the boss and you know, stuff can actually attack each other, which means that if you like have enemies between you and like other archers, then what you can actually achieve there is okay, he's finally been defeated. So now I just have to defeat the minions, which are really simple 1v1 encounters, and then we're good, hopefully. Yeah, you can actually have archers on the other side of you and enemies, and they can take down enemies from the back that usually are shielding pretty well, and there's something really satisfying about that. So yeah, that's a definite plus for the game, for sure. So I just stood on spikes, which I was very clear with there, but I'm an idiot. So yeah, so that's really good. I like the fact that the combat's kind of dynamic. I don't like the combat's slow, but that's just intentional to make it so that you can do cool things, so, you know, I forgive that. The areas where the game's kind of annoying, you're seeing right here, whenever you kill an enemy, it sprays gold out everywhere, but there's no auto-collect for it, and, like, the radius of you actually collecting it is really small. Let's just save up. Actually, let's get 1 enchantment, and then we'll save up for a big one. And I've got can deal with faster attacks, which fixes the problem I was just talking about. But yeah, you'll notice the enchantments you get from the 15 gold one, they're really weak. Like, being able to attack faster, maybe I get like, you know, 5% faster per hit. It's not noticeable till you get multiple of them, which is kind of upsetting. But it's really good because it means you get a whole bunch of different things. So if you want some protection, some attack, then that's what I think that fountain's good for. If you just want to fix one specific issue, you probably... I guess you can't really do anything, but the 100G ones are generally all pretty good, so bear that in mind. But yeah, the gold collection, it's really annoying in this game because like you have to be so close to things, and if a gold piece gets trapped on something, you have to slowly move the pieces out of the way, and it's a little bit of a hassle. Like, that's probably my biggest gripe with the game, because it happens every single time you're killing an enemy. Like, I'll show you this time. You have to go over the gold, you have to be right next to it, and it doesn't just automatically come to you, which you know, automatically is a little silly, but I think maybe a bigger radius would definitely help out a lot. So let's look at the map then, and let's see what's going on. So this is the third level I talked about, where you know, it's kind of ambiguous and kind of encourages multiple playthroughs by confusing you, which some people might love, like just not being told what to do. But personally, I'm really bad at stuff like boss fights, where it's like there's a lot of boss fights for a lot of like games where I don't understand them, because like what lots of people see as obvious cues, for me they just don't happen that way. Whereas like in some games I get really non-obvious things that aren't that way. I don't get why it is, but like personally that's just annoyance. But we'll leave that as an annoyance. So Yeah, this is where the keycard system kind of comes in, or the key system, if you will. It's kind of like the keycards from old FPSs, and you go around, you collect keys, and it allows you to unlock things. So, a fun comparison that I realised that this game was actually really similar to, and that, you know, was one of the reasons I liked it so much, is it's kind of like dungeoneering in RuneScape, which is kind of like it's a fairly recent skill, like last 10, I guess 10 years isn't very recent, but like the last kind of 5-10 years. And like you go around procedure generated dungeons, you have to solve quests, you have to go with friends and stuff, and it gives me that kind of vibe to it, and it's a really cool vibe. So yeah, I love the way the skill works. It keeps me coming back, and that's something I can say. So let's talk a bit about enemy variety, because you might have noticed so far I've encountered maybe like 2 different enemies and 1 boss. Basically, I believe it's intentionally that way. There's just 2 types of enemies to deal with at first. You've got your archers that deal quite a bit of damage. They fire at you. They're, you know, a little tricky to disengage sometimes, but most of the time it's just a matter of you know, knowing where you've got to go and stuff, and making sure that there's cover between you and it. And then you've got the, like, I guess the kind of brute guys. They deal less damage, but they're more annoying because they deal, you know, combat damage, and they can, you know, once you get 1 attack on them, they're dead. But you know, if there's lots of them, that's where they get tricky. So yeah, as you can see, honestly, most of oh, is that meant to be happening? I think that's my recording issue. Oh god, give me a second. Okay, so I think that was just on my end. Basically, the screen just started flickering because I'm recording with XSplit, and that creates some weird issues sometimes. Like I know I'm having some PC recording crises right now. Like I tried recording it Fraps, but it made loads of skipping. I didn't want to make the game look like it was skipping if it wasn't. That feels a little mean. But so yeah, what's going on right here? There's only 2 enemies at the first, like I said. They add a little bit more variety as you go through the later stages, because they change the themes up. So the existing enemies get, you know, reworked, they have more health, a little bit more damage, that sort of thing. The traps kind of change too, because right now there's only 2 traps that are dealing damage to me, just the spikes and you know, the rotating blades and stuff. That gets changed a lot. And then they also add an unkillable monster, the rock monster, and some, you know, enemies that have shields, that block attacks, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what's going on there. So let's do this. 3 enemies at once. Can we do it? Also, I'm going to look around for the 100 gold enchantment, because I really want to get one of those, because they're all pretty cool. To name a couple, it's ones like you get more gold per kill, which, you know, just helps you get more enchantments. There's one, I believe, that regenerates health faster, or like, you know, just at all, which is so handy in this game where you have to run and search for food sometimes. Let's let this enemy out. So yeah, they join me. So if you allow prisoners, by the way, I mostly ignore them in this game, because every now and then they, like, you know, they attack me, and it's like I don't want to deal with it. It's just not worth my time. But yeah, now we're less susceptible to burning, and burning is so annoying in this game, by the way. Like, it's meant to be a big deterrent to being set on fire, and that makes sense. But like, just when you get set on fire in this game, like, you move slower, you take constant damage, and you're pretty much just a guaranteed death, which isn't something I can say I'm a huge fan of. No one ever likes, you know, like I said, instant death, never a good thing. But yeah, so let's use our companion. Which, by the way, even when they become companions, because there's 3 states they can be in. It's hostile, it's companion, and there's frightened and runs away. The hostile kind of like thingamajig, it's just annoying to deal with, and you don't get any gold for it. If they're your friend, I end up attacking them more often than not, and they don't really help me out. Like, sometimes, I think a couple times they've slain bosses for me, which is always, you know, amusing, I guess. But like, besides that, they don't really achieve a whole bunch for me. So yeah, I'd mostly just leave them in the cages. I stopped feeling bad for them a few playthroughs in, so there's always that. And we're going to start saving for our next 100 gold enchantment, I think, because after this level it gets slightly easier to do so. So we've got all 3 key cards now. We just need to find the, I believe it's the bone kind of thing, and that'll set off the big bone invasion, which is the part I actually saw from the first trailer and was kind of interested in. So yeah, big negative so far. The gold feature, definitely a little annoying. The combat's kind of slow. I'd like it if there was a little bit of skill you could do in between shots or something. Like, I like there is a lot of skill right now, but it just feels like in between shots you wait a lot of time. And a tiny bit of manual health regen would be nice, I think, but not a requirement. And like the big things I like so far, the procedural generation is amazing. It really does feel unique each time. Like, this is, I believe, my 12th playthrough at this point, and yeah, it still feels like a unique experience. So I just look on the map and work out where I'm going. That's something I always forget to do, because I know I'm just going to walk into something I shouldn't. So let's look up here. Is it? No, that's a dead end too. So I get... Oh, no, there's a room over here. Yep, this is the bone room. I almost walked away from that. So yeah, this is the skull, and then after we make it... we've got a long run to make it if we're gonna... Okay, so we touch the skull. We can pick up the note too, by the way, which explains what's going on. And then we're gonna run all the way to the exit. So yeah, what happens is there's just a big, you know, bone thing happening here. Or like, I guess, invasion is what you call it. And basically, yeah, there's big noise, and then something happens. And the first time you do this, you're like, oh, that's odd. Yeah, what happens is around the place, loads of bone enemies start spawning, and they're easy enough to kill, but there's just so many of them. Also, this big bone monster spawns to the exit, and I know you can kill it. I'm pretty sure you can kill it anyway, like based on my developer conversations. But you know, I just don't bother. I just say, you know, if you can run around something that you can kill, why not just run around it? You know. So yeah, that's what I mean, by the way. This is kind of like a guide because I'm giving you some of the things that you probably won't learn on your first go. Or maybe you would. Maybe I'm the one that's the idiot. But that's what's going on here. So next we're going to move on to the second set of levels. I mentioned this before, but every 3 levels it changes, and after 9 levels there is the first ending. After 18 levels there are the next 2 endings. So you can kind of go through 3 environments or 6 if you want, depending on how you want to do it. And also awkward silences. I like the name for this level a lot. Too much, in fact. But yeah, so this is kind of more of an Aztec kind of environment, and to make up for that, there's more traps, and I walked in the first one. I figured, oh, no. And there's also the the big rock monster I mentioned earlier. Basically, this dude does half your health and damage, a little bit more sometimes. And yeah, that's kind of a little silly. But yeah, that's basically the big avoid this guy or you'll die kind of thing. We're back at full health now, though. Also, all of the enemies have been changed, and now they are all, of course, a lot. They take a little bit more damage, they deal a little more damage, but they drop a lot more gold. So even though they look like they're dropping the same kind of amount, I need to go get that gold. Even though they look like they're dropping the same amounts, each gold coin's worth 2 in this Aztec level. I don't know why they just didn't make much of a colour, but like kind of signify that. But yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. So now we're going to get the upgrades twice as fast. We'll probably only show this level and the one after it, because this level is a really simple one, just kind of introducing you to what's going on. As you can see, this is a trap in front of me. I'll jump over it to show you maybe. Oh, it doesn't actually go off unless it... Okay. Hits me. But yeah, there's the darts. There's a big wall things I hit at the very start. And there's just a... What's going on? Why would I want to go there? I guess if you're not looking, but whatever. So, let's look at the map, and it looks like north is always a good pro tip, by the way. Like, look in the top right, there's a mini-map, and that just guides you north. It's always the easiest way to do things. So, yeah, we're going to try and get 100 gold before the end of this, which should be pretty easy, because like I said, everything's worth 2, and enemies can drop like up to 5 of the gold pieces. So you can get like 10 gold a kill, you know, plus even more once you get the necessary enchantment, or the upgrade. Like I said, just going to call them enchantments. Yeah, once you do that, then you get a lot of gold. So lots and lots of enemies. Let's hope they all kill each other like normal. But yeah, so they add more traps as you slowly go through the game. The bosses get more difficult. Like what you have to do for each stage gets more difficult, and that totally makes sense and stuff. Like at first it's kind of overwhelming each time you enter a new area, to be honest, because you know you've already just struggled through the last one. But it teaches you to be smarter and smarter, and I like a game that has a nice learning curve. Especially when it's a fun learning curve like this game gets right. So, yeah, like I said, to give a kind of overall sum of my opinion before we go into this final level, I really like the procedural generation. It does the game perfect. I think they got it a really nice level. I think when you've got a dungeon game, it's hard to do it that wrong, but you know, it feels nice. I'm going through it. It's getting more familiar, but I'm not just memorizing everything, which is what I like a game. On top of that, let's get another charm, by the way. I dislike the way the gold works. It's slightly annoying. I think it should just kind of... You should have a closer range you can get to it before it gets picked up, because right now, it can just get lost under stuff. And, I haven't seen a good example of that in the video, but, you know, going around collecting everything, it's just not a fun part of the game. Like, I just don't enjoy it, and I can't really think of anyone who would, so... Let's get some basic level enchantments, too. Ooh, super combo. That's a pretty useful one. Also, if you look on the left there, by the way, I like the fact that they go everything on the UH is fine. On the left, you've got your perks, and on the bottom, you've got your key cards, I guess you'd call them. But yeah, so I like the way the UI works. I like the way the game kind of plays and stuff. But my big dislikes, the coin thing I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to keep going back to that while I, you know, lose my mind and stuff. I dislike the fact that lots of the game feels like you need to have played it before. Like you have to just trial and error through lots of stuff. There should be some skill and some working out what you should do. Maybe, like the thing I mentioned earlier, where if I got to level 6 and then I just got blown up by a monster at the end of the level, like, oh, I was at full health, well, I guess I deserve to be on 0 because I should have worked out he'd explode. Just stuff like that kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. And I'm still playing the game, and I still continue to play the game. Don't get me wrong, it's just, you know, those things get on my nerves a little bit. So I like the game overall. It's pretty swell, and if I had to give it a number, I'd say I don't believe in numbers. I just genuinely kind of, oh geez, there is a big rock monster who, by the way, will actually take out enemies for you. So if you're confident, which I shouldn't be because he just hit me, if you're confident with your ability not to get hit by him, then I guess that's a smart thing to do. So yeah, I did ask the developers, by the way, and he is entirely unkillable because I first saw him and like I figured, oh, maybe there's a weird way to kill him, but of course there's no wiki when the game first comes out, because I mean before the games even came out, because as I said, this is 4 days before it came out. But like there's no wiki of course, so it's just like, oh, I just have to ask the developers. The developers are the wiki before the game comes out, if you will. So to get to the end of this level, I believe it's another bone kind of invasion thing. Gotta find that bone shrine by going for all the keycard stuff, and yeah, just kind of generic stuff. So green, there's the 2 colors I don't have here, and free enemy kill, I guess. But yeah, that's how the game's gonna go. So I like the game. It keeps me drawn in, and I will probably play it for a little bit. If you're looking for an indie fix that has like, and you like procedural generation, or you know, you don't like playing the same thing over and over again, but more like you do, but you don't, if that makes any sense at all. Like, you probably get what I mean if you've been watching the video. This game's for you. It's a really nice, it's $10 right now. So like a little bit cheaper everywhere else in the world, and yeah, you can basically get a lot of fun, like get an hour a day, even more. I just play for an hour a day because my time constraints, but you can just play through the entire game and be like, wow, that's kind of cool. The controls are pretty simple, pretty nice. I can actually show you on screen actually. It's that simple. It's just it's 4 separate keys. I never use jump, by the way. I probably should use the jump more, but yeah, it's just 4 separate controls, which is really simple. Controls well, has a high skill cap, and is kind of addicting. So yeah, that's my kind of overall verdict on the game. I want to get to the end of this level, and then I'll call it a video. So if you like this kind of thing, where because I did my Games of Gold stuff, and I really enjoyed doing that, so I figured maybe I could do a similar thing, but you know, not for Games of Gold, but for just games that are coming out. Because there are so many games coming out every single day, and not many people know about all of them. I figured it'd be a cool idea to just, you know, pick some picks, play a lot of games, work out the cool ones, and you know, maybe do videos on those and stuff. If you like the idea, let me know in the comments down below. I know inherently by being a different game, it's going to be perhaps not as popular, but I'm curious anyways. So yeah, let's do this. Let's just focus entirely on this last level now. So if we get 100 gold, we might be able to get one of those shrines done, which would then allow us to actually, like, hopefully get like something that regenerates health, because I just don't see any health lying around. So 97, 99, damn it. has to tease me, doesn't it? So yeah, I'm kind of scared right now. Let's just oh jeez. Let's kill this guy. He'll give me at least 1 coin. Oh god, there are so many arrows coming from everywhere. I guess we'll just kill another person. Then we'll go around, look for the gold depot, as I'm going to call it, and I just got stomped by the thing. So yeah, that was my run. I hope you enjoyed it, this video. Like it if you did like it. Check out the game if you want to buy it. If you don't, that's cool for me. As I said, I don't get any form of benefit for if you do. I just thought it was a cool game. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.